Hey there, folks! Tonight we're diving into the fascinating world of global trade and specifically, a little thing called the Panama Canal. Now this isn't just some ditch they dug out for fun. This 50-mile stretch of waterway is a lifeline for international trade. It connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, saving ships weeks of travel time around South America. Think of it as the express lane for giant cargo ships, but instead of overpriced tolls, it's controlled by, well, that's where things get interesting. Before the canal, goods had to be shipped all the way around the tip of South America. It was a long and treacherous journey. The Panama Canal changed all that. It's like taking a shortcut through your neighbor's yard to avoid the traffic on the main road. Except in this case, the shortcut saves thousands of miles and billions of dollars every year. This tiny country in Central America controls a major choke point for global commerce. That's a lot of power for a small strip of land. And where there's power, you can bet there's some big players lurking in the background. The construction of the Panama Canal was one of the most ambitious engineering projects of its time. Thousands of workers from around the world toiled under harsh conditions to bring this vision to life. Today, the canal is a marvel of modern engineering, with its intricate system of locks and gates. The control center coordinates the passage of ships, ensuring smooth and efficient transit. The economic impact of the Panama Canal is staggering, influencing global trade patterns and economies. Panama itself has flourished, with the canal driving growth and development in the region. International agreements and treaties have been forged to ensure the canal remains a neutral and open passage. Over the years, control of the canal has shifted, reflecting the changing geopolitical landscape. As we look to the future, the Panama Canal will continue to be a vital artery for global trade, adapting to new challenges and opportunities. So next time you see a cargo ship, remember the incredible journey it takes thanks to this watery shortcut. Now let's talk about BlackRock. You might not recognize the name, but trust me, they're a big deal. In fact, they're one of the most influential financial institutions in the world. We're talking about the world's largest asset manager, with over $10 trillion in assets under management. That's a staggering amount of money. To put that into perspective, that's more money than the entire GDP of most countries. Imagine having control over such a vast amount of wealth. They're like the Beyoncé of the financial world. Everyone knows their name, even if they don't know exactly what they do. Just like Beyoncé dominates the music industry, BlackRock dominates the financial sector. BlackRock invests in everything from stocks and bonds to real estate and infrastructure. Their investment portfolio is incredibly diverse. They own pieces of companies you know and use every day. From tech giants to retail brands, their influence is everywhere. And guess what else they're investing in? It's not just the usual suspects, you got it, infrastructure related to the Panama Canal. This strategic waterway is crucial for global trade. They're not buying the canal itself yet, but they're buying up the ports, the shipping companies, the logistics companies, basically everything that makes the canal tick. Their reach extends far and wide. They're like the friend who shows up to the party late but still manages to eat all the snacks and charm the host. BlackRock's influence is subtle yet pervasive, making them a financial giant you might not know, but definitely should. So how does BlackRock actually get its hands on the Panama Canal? It's a question that might seem straightforward at first, but the reality is far more intricate and subtle. Well, they're not buying it outright. That would be too obvious and far too costly, not to mention politically sensitive. Instead, they're investing in companies that are directly involved in the canal's operations. This strategy allows them to exert influence without drawing too much attention. Think of it like this. You want to control the pizza place down the street, but you don't want to buy the whole restaurant. Maybe you don't have the capital, or maybe you just want to stay under the radar. So, what do? You buy the company that supplies their dough, ensuring that you have a say in one of their most critical ingredients. Then, you buy the company that delivers their ingredients, giving you control over their supply chain. And finally, you buy the company that rents them their ovens, the very equipment they need to operate. You might not own the pizza place, but you sure as hell control it. This layered approach allows you to pull the strings from behind the scenes. BlackRock is doing something similar with the Panama Canal. They're not just buying a piece of the pie, they're buying the ingredients, the delivery service, and the oven. They're investing in companies that operate the ports at either end of the canal, ensuring they have a say in the entry and exit points of this crucial waterway. They're also putting money into companies that own the ships that pass through it. giving them influence over the vessels that navigate these waters. And companies that manage the logistics of moving goods through this vital waterway are also on their radar. This means they have a hand in the entire process, from start to finish. It's a web of investments that gives BlackRock a significant amount of influence over this crucial artery of global trade. Their reach extends far beyond just one canal. And it's not just the Panama Canal. Their strategy is replicated across various critical infrastructures around the world. Remember that whole global asset manager thing? It's not just a title, it's a strategy. They are leveraging their vast resources to gain control over key assets worldwide. Yeah, they're playing this game on a much larger scale. From ports to pipelines and from shipping lanes to supply chains, BlackRock's influence is pervasive and far-reaching. The Panama Canal isn't the only waterway where BlackRock is flexing its financial muscles. They're also heavily invested in the Suez Canal, another crucial shipping route that connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. This canal is like the Panama Canal's older, more established cousin. It's been around longer, it's seen more history, and it's just as important for global trade. Now, owning stakes in both of these canals might seem like a good thing. After all, competition is good for business, right? But when one company has so much influence over two of the world's most important shipping routes, it raises some serious questions. Section 5. Conflicts on the horizon, BlackRock's balancing act. So we've got BlackRock, a financial behemoth, with its fingers in the pies of two of the world's most important shipping lanes. What could possibly go wrong, right? Well, imagine this. What if a conflict erupts in a region that impacts one of these canals? What if a natural disaster forces one of them to close? Suddenly BlackRock is in a position to benefit from these crises. If the Panama Canal is blocked, BlackRock could theoretically reroute its ships through the Suez Canal, even if it means higher costs for everyone else. They could even use their influence to prioritize their own shipments over others. It's a classic case of too big to fail meets too big to ignore. Section 6. Public infrastructure, private interests. A slippery slope? This whole situation begs the question, should private companies have this much control over public infrastructure? These canals aren't just some investment opportunity, they're vital arteries of the global economy. They connect nations, facilitate trade, and impact the lives of billions of people. When private interests take precedence over public good, we all lose. It's like letting your neighbor charge you a toll to use your own driveway. It's your driveway, for crying out loud. You should have a say in how it's run. Section 7. The power of awareness. You have a role to play. Look, I'm not saying BlackRock is some evil corporation out to destroy the world. They're just playing the game the way it's set up, but that doesn't mean we have to accept it. The first step to change is awareness. We need to start asking questions about who controls our infrastructure and what their priorities are. Do your own research. Talk to your friends, write to your elected officials, let them know that you care about this issue. Because when it comes to the future of global trade, we're all stakeholders. Section 8. The future of global trade. What happens next? The story of the Panama Canal, the Suez Canal, and BlackRock's involvement is just one example of a much larger trend. As globalization continues, we're seeing more and more critical infrastructure fall into the hands of a few powerful companies. The future of global trade is uncertain, but one thing is clear. We need to start thinking critically about who controls the systems that keep our world running. We need to demand transparency, accountability, and a commitment to the public good. Because when it comes to something as important as global trade, we can't afford to leave it in the hands of a few. That's our show, everybody.